Hello pioneers, welcome back to Nicholas Tesla Network, my amazing pioneers family. I've got something exciting lined up for you today, something that could completely shift how you view Pi Network and its future. But before we dive into this deep breakdown, do me a favor, hit that share button and spread this video to your fellow pioneers. What I'm about to reveal isn't just hype, it's the kind of insight that could open your eyes to opportunities most people are ignoring. We're talking about potential exchange listings, a realistic path to Pi hitting $100, ecosystem developments that are happening quietly in the background, and even some inside perspectives on wallet lockups that many pioneers are still confused about. And yes, I've got some pretty strong opinions about why the critics calling Pi worthless are about to be proven wrong in a big way. Stick with me until the end, because once you understand what's really unfolding, you'll see that $100 for Pi isn't just wishful thinking. It's the logical outcome of everything being built right now. Now, let's address the question every pioneer has asked at least once: which exchange is going to list Pi first, and why does that matter so much? Think of this like a heavyweight boxing match, a battle between two of the biggest names in the industry. On one side, you've got BINANCE, the reigning champion of trading volume, with a massive global user base that can send prices skyrocketing within hours of a listing. On the other side, there's COINBASE, the go-to exchange for mainstream investors, the name that carries trust and instantly brings legitimacy to any coin it touches. Both of these giants could transform Pi overnight, and whichever one makes the move first could set off a chain reaction that changes the entire trajectory of this project. If Binance lists Pi first, we're looking at intense trading activity, insane liquidity, and price swings that could rival the wildest days of Bitcoin or Ethereum. Binance users don't play around when a new listing drops. But if Coinbase is the first to pull the trigger, the story changes. It wouldn't just be about trading volume, it would be about mainstream acceptance. A Coinbase listing is like an official stamp of approval. It signals to institutions, casual investors, and even skeptics that a coin has made it into the big leagues. Imagine your family member who's never touched crypto before suddenly feeling confident enough to buy Pi just because it's available on Coinbase. That's the kind of influence we're talking about. Of course, the competition between these platforms isn't just speculation. Behind the scenes, you can bet both are already considering the potential of Pi and what capturing its community could mean. My personal prediction? The exchange that moves fastest and recognizes Pi's growing influence will take the biggest slice of the pie, literally. Meanwhile, Pi's core team hasn't been sitting still. They've been exploring integrations with platforms like Soraban, Stellar's smart contract ecosystem, which could supercharge Pi's blockchain capabilities. Faster transaction speeds, scalable decentralized applications, and an infrastructure that rivals what Ethereum currently offers, that's the kind of foundation being quietly built. And with hackathons already underway, it's clear the Pi network is serious about evolving from a concept into a fully functional ecosystem. Hackathons, for those who don't know, aren't just for fun. They're breeding grounds for innovation, where real-world applications are designed, tested, and deployed. When a project invests in events like this, it's a signal that they're moving beyond hype and into utility. And that brings us to a key point: Pi's ecosystem development. Right now, the network is still under construction, and that's actually a golden opportunity for those paying attention. The ecosystem needs developers to build apps that people will use. It needs more pioneers completing KYC so that the network can grow stronger and more secure. It needs clear guidelines for builders so that innovation isn't slowed by uncertainty. And most importantly, it needs a reliable payment gateway, because the moment Pi can be used for everyday purchases is the moment it becomes unstoppable. Imagine buying groceries, paying for travel, or subscribing to services directly with Pi. That's when adoption explodes, and that's when Pi's real journey begins. Of course, some people love to argue. They say Pi is worthless, that it will never be worth more than a few cents, and that the whole thing is overhyped. But these critics usually ignore one of the most powerful forces in any market: psychology. The crypto market isn't just numbers and charts, it's human emotion, fear, greed, conviction, and patience. Weak hands panic during volatility, while strong hands understand that turbulence is simply part of the journey. The investors who thrive in crypto are the ones who can stomach the ups and downs and hold their positions until the real value is unlocked. That's why I say $100 for Pi isn't a fantasy, it's a target based on logic. Here's the math. Pi's long-term market cap potential sits in the trillions. If the network captures even a fraction of Bitcoin's dominance, today's prices will look ridiculously cheap in hindsight. Early adopters of Bitcoin who believed when everyone else mocked them became legends in this space. Pi has the same kind of opportunity brewing. The difference is that this time, we're seeing the infrastructure being built step by step, with adoption and technology growing together instead of separately. Now let's clear up some confusion about wallet lockups, because this is one area where misinformation spreads fast. Many pioneers have noticed that some of their migrated Pi is locked up, and not because they chose the lockup option themselves. This is part of the network's ongoing testing. The core team has made it clear, no pioneer will be left behind. These temporary restrictions are designed to strengthen security and stabilize the system before opening the floodgates. I personally have Pi coins that remain locked despite being one of the earliest adopters. But I see that as bullish news. Why? Because once these restrictions are lifted and the network is fully operational, we're going to see a surge in trading volume and activity that could trigger significant price movements. Another important point is transparency. Pi moderators operate under strict guidelines. They can't just hype fantasy numbers or spread unverified rumors. When they temper expectations, it's not because Pi has no future, it's because they're building credibility through honesty. And that credibility will matter immensely when the world is watching. As for Pi being useless? Let me be blunt, dips and periods of low momentum aren't failures. They're opportunities. I've personally increased my holdings during downturns because I know this is a 5-year vision, not a 5-day gamble. The Pi core team continues to roll out updates, from the Pi Domains auction where pioneers can secure valuable digital real estate within the network, to the upcoming Pi Wallet Pro upgrade, which will integrate with global systems and expand Pi's reach. Every one of these developments builds the foundation for mass adoption. So let's zoom out. When you look at the big picture, you see a project that's tackling infrastructure, utility, adoption, and legitimacy all at once. You see a community that's growing stronger every day. You see a path to real-world usage that could make Pi one of the most important digital currencies of the next decade. And yes, you see a realistic path to $100. Before I wrap up, let me remind you that this isn't financial advice. Always do your own research and consult professionals before making investment decisions. What I shared today is my analysis, based on publicly available data and observable trends. If you found value in this deep dive, make sure to share it with your fellow pioneers. The stronger our community's knowledge base, the more prepared we'll be when the next big announcement drops. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and stay tuned for more insights that mainstream media won't talk about. In the world of crypto, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. So keep learning, keep building your positions, and most importantly, keep believing in the revolutionary potential of blockchain technology. Pi to $100 isn't a dream. It's a destination we're moving toward, one pioneer at a time.